The Church Growth and Giving Show, your resource for growing faithful communities. Brought to you by Vanco, helping tens of thousands of churches thrive for over 20 years. Join Jordan and Hannah as they share insights drawn from decades of church giving and engagement expertise.
So I've got something really exciting to talk about today. We're diving into church mission statements, which might sound like just another administrative task, but they're actually so much more powerful than that.
I think a lot of churches struggle with this. They either have no mission statement at all, they have one that's just collecting dust somewhere on their website, or they have one that's so generic it could apply to literally any church anywhere. But a truly effective mission statement, that's like your church's heartbeat. It guides everything from your programs to your outreach to how you make disciples.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a church mission statement, and why is it so important?
A church mission statement is a concise statement that defines your church's culture, values, and ethics. It's typically just 1 to 3 sentences long, but it motivates others to support your organization and helps attract new members who connect with your message.
I see. So it's not just some corporate exercise, it actually serves a really practical purpose.
Yeah, the Barna Group did a study showing that over 80% of congregants expect their church mission to be clear, consistent, and aligned with its activities. People want to know what you stand for and that you're actually living it out.
I'm curious, can you give us an example of what a good mission statement looks like?
Sure, take Community Christian Church's mission statement, helping people find their way back to God. It's simple, but it immediately tells you what they're about. Or the rescue mission of Salt Lake, ending homelessness and restoring lives in the name of Jesus Christ. That one's more specific to their particular calling.
Those are great examples. I can see how they would help guide church activities too. Like with that second example, you'd expect to see them hosting fundraisers to help the homeless and guiding them toward faith.
Exactly. Your mission needs to align with what you actually do. It builds trust when people can see that connection. If a church says they're focused on serving the poor but doesn't engage in any outreach, well, that disconnect is going to be pretty obvious.
So how do you actually go about writing an effective mission statement? It seems like it could be a bit overwhelming.
It can feel that way at first, but breaking it down into key elements really helps. You want to focus on 4 main things: purpose, target audience, values, and goals.
Could you break those down a bit more?
Of course, purpose is what your church exists to do. Maybe it's spreading the gospel, helping an underserved group, or discipling believers. Target audience is who you're trying to reach. Values define what you believe in, and goals may be more specific outcomes you're working toward.
So once you know those elements, how do you actually craft the statement?
I'd recommend hosting a brainstorming session with your leadership team. Ask questions like, what is our church's unique calling? What differentiates us from other churches? Who are we trying to reach? What are our core values? What activities do we host or participate in?
I love that collaborative approach. I imagine getting different perspectives would really help capture the full essence of the church.
It's a crucial step in the process. And then comes the challenging part, balancing brevity and clarity. You want your statement to be concise enough to be memorable, but clear enough to convey your purpose.
That's the tricky part, isn't it? Finding that balance.
It really is. My advice is to avoid jargon, because terms like anointed or salvation might not be clear to everyone. Also, eliminate overly complex language. A good strategy is to start with a few sentences, then determine which words can be shortened, eliminated, or expressed more concisely.
Do you have some examples of mission statements that strike that balance well?
Sure. East 91st Street Christian Center says, to become an equipping and mobilizing church that transforms our world for Jesus Christ. Central Christian Churches is to connect the unconnected to Christ and together pursue full devotion. Both are clear, concise, and capture their unique focus.
I notice there seems to be quite a bit of variety in how churches approach their mission statements. Is there a difference based on denomination or church size?
There tends to be. Let me give you some examples. Meadows Baptist Church says, Meadows Church exists to call and empower people to follow Jesus Christ and live biblically. That emphasis on living biblically reflects Baptist values. Meanwhile, a United Methodist Church might focus more on inclusivity and social justice in their statement, reflecting their theological emphasis.
So once you've seen examples like these, how do you adapt them for your own church? You can't just copy someone else's, right?
No, you shouldn't copy another church exactly. Your mission statement needs to reflect your church's unique identity and calling. Start by identifying your core values through surveys, focus groups, observing your practices and activities, reflecting on leadership teachings, and considering your church history.
I like that approach. You'd probably want to consider your community's specific needs too, right?
You bet. If you're in a community with many young people, your statement might be more modern and relevant to that demographic. If homelessness is a major issue locally, your mission might address how you're helping in that specific area through connection to Jesus.
What about the difference between mission statements and vision statements? I've heard those terms used somewhat interchangeably, but are they actually different?
They are different, though they work together. A mission statement describes your current purpose and what you're doing now. A vision statement describes where you want to be in the future, so it's more aspirational.
Oh, I see. Can you give an example of how they work together?
Macquarie Life Church is one example. Their mission is to build the kingdom of God in our community and the nations. Their vision statement is our vision toward Christ is outworked as we look up, lean in, and reach out. The mission establishes building God's kingdom, while the vision describes how they'll work toward that goal.
That's so helpful. I think I've been confused about that distinction before. So once you have a mission statement, how often should you review or update it? It seems like you don't want to change it too frequently.
That's right. Frequent updates can create confusion and suggest a lack of authenticity. However, there are legitimate times when revision makes sense. Major leadership changes, shifts in your community demographics, or an intentional change in church focus might all warrant revisiting your mission statement.
And if you do need to update it, what's the best approach?
Start by considering what elements still hold true and what needs to change. If possible, use a similar formula to your previous statement for continuity. Write out your new statement without worrying about conciseness initially, then edit it down. And most importantly, gather feedback from leaders and members before finalizing it.
And I guess you'd need to communicate those changes clearly to your congregation too?
That's a must. Consider hosting a special meeting or sending a newsletter explaining the changes and why they were necessary. Transparency builds trust, and people appreciate understanding the why behind such important shifts.
What are some common mistakes churches make when crafting mission statements?
One big one is being too vague or too broad. Saying something like "we exist to glorify God" is true for every church, so it doesn't distinguish yours or provide specific direction. Another mistake is lack of congregational involvement. When you don't get input from members, you miss valuable perspectives and risk creating a statement people don't connect with.
It seems like ignoring your church's unique identity would be a mistake too.
That's another good point. Your uniqueness is what attracts people to your specific church rather than the one down the street. Embrace what makes your congregation special, whether that's your approach to worship, your community involvement, or your theological emphases.
So once you have a great mission statement, how do you actually use it to guide decision-making and growth?
That's where the rubber meets the road. Your mission statement should be a filter for every program and initiative. Before starting something new, ask, does this align with our mission? If not, it might not be the right fit for your church.
I love that practical application. What about using it to attract new members and volunteers?
Your mission statement can be a powerful recruitment tool. People want to be part of something meaningful. Include your mission in all your marketing materials, on your website, and in your bulletin. When potential members or volunteers connect with your purpose, they're more likely to get involved and stick around.
How can churches measure whether they're successfully living out their mission?
Great question. Surveys are one excellent tool. Ask members how well they think your activities align with your stated mission. You can also look at metrics like member engagement, volunteer participation, and even financial health as indicators. A Leadership Network report showed that 70% of mission driven churches see more engagement from their members.
Those are great measurement tools. What about practical ways to communicate and implement the mission throughout the church?
Incorporate your mission into weekly sermons and programs. Help people see the connection between Sunday's message and your overall purpose. Display the mission statement in visible areas around your church and on your website. And most importantly, train all your leaders and volunteers to embody the mission in everything they do.
That training piece seems so important. After all, it's not just the pastor's job to live out the mission.
It needs to be your whole church, top to bottom. Everyone from choir leaders to Sunday school teachers to ministry coordinators should understand how their role contributes to the larger purpose. A THM agency study found that 63% of staff members who work for organizations with clear mission statements feel motivated, compared to just 31% of those without them.
For churches who want to dive deeper into this topic, are there resources available to help them?
There are plenty of resources. Many denominations offer guides for developing mission statements. There are also free tools available online. In fact, in the full article guide on mission statements, you'll find in-depth details and a link to an AI tool to help you build professionally worded copy for free. You can find the link in the show notes. You can also find our complete church leadership guide to help you navigate your church to a brighter future.
This has been such an insightful conversation, Jordan. Any final thoughts for church leaders who are feeling inspired to work on their mission statements?
Remember that this process isn't just about coming up with a catchy phrase. It's about discerning and articulating God's unique calling for your church. Take the time to pray, listen, and involve your congregation. A well-crafted mission statement can truly transform your ministry by providing clarity, purpose, and direction.
Thank you all for joining us today on the Church Growth and Giving Show. We hope this conversation has inspired you to revisit your church's mission and ensure it's guiding everything you do. If you liked the tips we provided today, please be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This will help you to receive the latest updates on our free tools and guides and help us continue to provide more free guides and tools like the ones we discussed.